Snoop Dogg. I like the hardcover. Wow, that's not how I expected him to look. Yeah. Wax.
Let's see.
I expected that for Wayne, I guess, maybe. He looks dapper.
Yeah, you know.
Oh! That's
but here's
right.
the thing.
That
They're
right.
opposite. That's Wax and that's Wayne. But Wayne shouldn't have a gun in his hand.
Well,
yeah,
that's an oversight. That's a huge oversight.
Wayne don't do guns.
Unless that's actually supposed to be
No,
Wax.
because Wayne always had a hat on.
That's a great point. That's a huge oversight.
Major oversight.
He should not have.
And that's not a dueling cane. He's got his finger on a trigger.
Show the camera.
He's got his finger on a trigger. Yeah. Wayne does not mess with guns. He's not a firepower kind of guy.
In fact, I think for like all of one scene did he even mess with the gun and he missed like a million
Yeah, he
times.
missed, and because he killed that guy. That's the whole thing is how he met Matt Wax was he killed the guy like on accident, and then maybe not fully on accident, but
that is an oversight. Is it not?
That was an oversight.
I mean, come on.
I mean, that is truly just against his character.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, what was I about to do? Oh yeah. I got myself a Junie for a happy mind.
I got
Spark.
Same thing. Vibes for mood. Supreme drink with magnesium.
And we are not sponsored by them. They're LA.
They're LA.
Da 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 da. That was pretty funny. That's when you know we're at the same freaking groove. I mean, you give us...
I can see the levels on there.
You give us 30 seconds.
I think we almost just broke the computer. Lemon zest.
Yeah, lemon zest. Zest since when is zest a
reishi
flavor?
mushrooms, lion's mane, ashwagandha, green tea.
Oh, I hate ashwagandha.
Well, it's like snake oil. So what are you gonna do?
Well, everybody was saying ashwagandha. So I went and got some.
Gosh, why don't you?
Let's go ahead and kick this thing off.
Yeah, kick it.
And when I say kick it, I want to kick it like a mule, dude.
Or like a can down the road?
I want to kick it like a freaking donkey. I want to lift and kick. Donkey kick that.
Oh, boom.
I'm feeling very aggressive.
357, Stone Lake, Missouri, Midwest emo hardcore.
Well, today is an exciting episode because we're finally back home with Brandon Sanderson. Mistborn Era 2, The Alloy of Law.
I brought my skis, my backpack, and my goggles for that Sander Lanch, and boy, did he come through.
Hey, and what a reasonably sized first novel in the series, right? That's reasonable.
I need to be eased in. I need to be eased into it.
You know what, though? I just came to this page randomly. Did you read these by
All
chance?
of them.
The problem I had with mine is in the paperback, half of it got cut off.
Well, that's the point.
I
know on this side it's supposed to.
On parts that you could read, though?
Yeah, no, it's supposed to.
Well,
so if you look at this one right here.
It was cut off by half a word, though.
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's a huge... I don't like that.
Well, it's not supposed to be like the book. You're reading a newspaper. But
No,
I did find that if you...
If only he could have moved the margins over slightly, I could have read that less painstaking.
Well, so actually, it's funny you say that because...
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
in
just
one
slightly.
of these... So actually, it's funny you say this because I've found this out, and it may not be this exact same story. Where is that page? I'm pretty sure the last and the second to last ones go together. So this one is exploring the pits of El Tania, and it's this guy that gets captured by the Collis and becomes their king. And I'm pretty sure it gets continued on
definitely,
here.
definitely gets continued.
But it's not like word for word, so it's kind of weird.
So it gives you enough of the story, but I mean, just a tiny.
I'll tell you what,
over
it was
been
a
helpful.
fun little brain exercise.
I hated that.
Oh, I loved it.
Why? Because if he moved it over a little bit, I would have burned through.
Yeah, but so I was able to read it and just fill in the words.
Me too, but why is that something you want to do? Why can't he move the margin over slightly?
You know, it's part of the Sanderlange, all right? It's the flurries before the lange.
But I did like that sub-story. We should get into that. I hadn't planned on talking too much about the Collis, but I thought that was kind of interesting, and obviously one of the characters has Collis blood, and so that is kind of interesting to see that Tarson, I think his name is, that is able to He's got that Kalos blood in him. He's from that ancient
That
bloodline.
Kalos. I knew a boy. He was like a Kalos, just dumb. Would hit walls with his head.
I don't think I know that.
I don't either.
Reference.
But you know what? That's how Theo Vaughn would talk about Kalos. I think he would.
That's how only you would talk about Kalos. So, hey, today we're going to review The Alloy Law by Brandon Sanderson. It's book 1 in the second era of the Mistborn series. And we are going to do what we always do. We're going to gab it up, gab. We're going to talk about all the things that we liked and all the things that we loved. And then potentially do a little bit of predicting.
Oh,
and
so much.
I took some notes, and I've got 2 things that I thought could be interesting to discuss with you that maybe you did or didn't pick up on. So you started this off by saying that you really liked the book, right, when we pulled it out. So how about you just give me a 30-second overview of what you liked about it and how it made you feel.
Yeah, ever since reading Tainted Cup, I've been kind of really wanting more of a Sherlock Holmesy detective murder mystery, a little fantasy in there, and I got all of that. Wax is that cold-hearted detective that is a little bit OP'd, but he's got a soft spot. Wayne is a little bit more of that Watson, a little bit sillier, but a little bit deeper of a character, and they mesh so well where they build off of each other. I thought the action scenes were very followable and impactful. You even got to learn more about the characters from like a actual character development perspective in the fight scenes. And I really liked her name. I'm blanking on
Marasi?
Yeah, Marasi. I really liked her dynamic in there where it's kind of this found lover but not going to happen. And towards the end, you instead of leaning into her relationship with Wax, she kind of finds herself and wants to be more of a detective. And overall, I loved the book. There wasn't much that I didn't like. Quick read and very well done.
Dude, I'd parrot that exactly. And so when I first cracked it and I was reading the prologue, my very first instinct sometimes when I read him is that it comes across as a little bit, not easy, but when I was reading this one, I felt like that maybe this one was even more young adult than usual. Just for some reason, when I read the first page or two, I was thinking that. And then no sooner did I have that thought, did Wax shoot his wife in the head.
In the face. In the face.
And I was like, okay, that's what I need, Sando.
Yeah. It just opened up with such a punch.
Yeah, what a great and, well, tragic way to start the book. But then also, obviously that continues to haunt Wax throughout the series, and it will. You know, he continued to have that sort of PTSD from that experience. You know, it'd be nice. It would have been nice to learn a little bit more about Leslie, but this book is kind of less about the relationships, and they usually are with him when it comes with the main character's love interests. Usually don't get a ton of page time in his stories, do they?
Yeah.
It just is not how he writes.
No, it's very surface level. It's not like a Robin Hobb where you're going to get a full chapter about it.
Yeah,
and you know,
but that's really write those types of stories, does he? Where there's really intense romance per se. There's always a burgeoning sort of connection. In this case, we suspect they had a great marriage and everything, and he was
it's never
traumatized
together
by that.
It's very introspective. You know, every part of, I think, in a relationship, even with like Vin and Ellen, very little of it was directly communicated between the two of them. You got it from Ellen's thinking about Vin, Vin thinking about Ellen, and people telling Vin how she should feel about Ellen, but very little was it like direct communication.
Together.
Yeah.
And honestly, I seldom look for books for that purpose. I like a little bit of it here and there, but I thought this was a really good book. I also liked the concept of the twinborn, just in general. You know, mixing allomancy with the ferukami.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then to be able to... The other thing that he did really nicely in this is he is obviously expecting that the reader had read Era 1, and so you don't need this deep re-educating of the system, and a lot less use of the actual system in the description of the fighting, I noticed.
Yeah, I
because it's a lot of... in a system where you could be killing with Allomancy alone, he basically mostly uses guns. Now, I did like that certain types of bullets could be used towards certain types of
like traditional bullets versus aluminum.
Allomancers. Yeah, so depending on the type of Furukami or the type of Allomancer they were, they would, I think one of the bullets, for example, was a ceramic and metal, so that when they would push the metal away, the ceramic was designed and the bullet was designed to keep
for
the
like the
ceramic
pewter
moving.
arms where.
Well, that's strength. I think that it would probably, like coin shot, I guess, or whatever, where you can manipulate out.
Yeah, and the ceramic would still go through. And then there was one where if you would wear like the vest, and if it hit the vest, then it would explode.
It would explode
like, in your face.
So that's
or something.
pretty. So I did like how you had that Sanderson brain still being applied to the system, but it was with mechanical means, like a gun.
I think he found a good way to have the action scenes where there was less hand-holding, but you still got that crazy, fantastical fight scene where things are going all over the place, but it wasn't just, he pulled this, and then this followed, and then he pushed that, and became lighter. Like, there was a little bit, but I felt like in Mistborn Era 1, it was so much, it was like, dude, I get it. Like, they push and they pull.
I kind of did like that, but I did find myself getting lost in some of those scenes, whereas this one, you can speed.
I thought it was the perfect amount of like, I get what's happening, but it's not.
I did too.
It's not beating a dead horse.
I actually kind of had the sense that even if you didn't know the magic system, you could have still picked up on it.
You could have gotten away with it.
So it almost made me feel like, maybe we never really. No, I'm maybe saying that with the benefit of having known the system intimately already, but I almost felt like, hey, someone could come and read this, have no idea, and still basically. Well,
the challenging thing, or what?
Maybe not though.
What makes it easier is that Wax can only push. Vin, being Mistborn, could push and pull, and so that means that those fight scenes are way more complex, where she's pushing and pulling at the same time because she's Mistborn.
That's an interesting concept.
Whereas Wax is just a coin shot. He can only push, so there's no push pulling in each.
But he also does have Furukami.
Yeah,
and he can make himself lighter or heavier.
Right.
And so that was interesting. And speaking of Furukami, I did also like Wax's ability to create those speed bubbles.
Yeah, speed bubble was sick. I like that.
I really liked that. And so if I were to say something that I liked about it, you nailed the high level perfectly. So I'll maybe just talk about something that I liked that he mentioned early on was, he kind of made the point that Marasi made the comment that she can do the opposite of what Wayne can do, in that she can slow time around
herself, and everything is the same.
No, herself is slowed down, everything else is moving. So she's like, well, this is a completely wasted, ability. I think that's her for Allomancy, actually.
That's her Allomancy, yeah.
That's her ability. I can't remember if that's bend alloy or if she's burning something else. But whatever she's burning allows her to slow time around her. And then so he says that early, and it's like, well, that's obviously not the case. Like, that must mean that the combination of her ability and something else is going to be vital to the catalyst or the climax of this story, and it was. So the whole time I was thinking, like, how could her ability be what, allows them to save the day? And you can't quite put your finger on a Sander Lanch.
I tried many times to think about how that was going to work out.
In hindsight, it makes so much sense. Like, oh, of course, you just got to get them
together,
Mr. Suits in that circle, and then get ambushed by the constables.
Or not Mr. Suit, the other guy.
Miles is Mr. Suits.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Look it up.
Mr. Suits is Wax's uncle. Miles is the guy that was the Goldborn that dies at the end. Miles and Miles is the guy that goes in and is like Mr. Suits.
That's
like,
right, Wes. So he's the rich.
The plan.
He was the rich backer that
Mr. Suits was the rich backer. Who you find out is Wax's uncle.
Yeah. You find out that it's Wax's uncle. Do you want to take that another level further?
Sure.
Did you know that there could be another level to that? And I know I'm discrediting myself now that I messed up that blunder.
No, it's fine.
But now that I'm in agreement, yes, Mr. Suits was that backer the whole time that you realize is Wax's uncle. So do you remember Lord Ladrian's name?
Lord Ladrian's name.
So Lord Ladrian, it's Waxilium Ladrian. And then his uncle was Lord Ladrian that went as suits for most of the book. Ladrian. This is it's kind of tough to remember, but because I had to look it up because I'm like, where do I know this name? And I kept thinking.
Is that the one town that one of the in Mistborn Era 1 that like Spook goes to and they like burn like kind of like burn it down?
No, but you're getting close. It's a house.
Oh, Ellen's like boy? No.
He's a part of the troop. And he went by, he never wanted to be called a noble. He went by something else.
Oh, was it the son? The son,
let me say it.
Ellen's half brother?
It's Breeze.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
Breeze.
Yeah. Huh.
So
interesting.
Wax is a descendant of Breeze, and the uncle is also a descendant of Breeze.
Oh, love that.
So how crazy is that?
Well, and it's funny, they reference Breeze specifically in this book.
At the very end.
Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right. And I think he's doing that for the savvy reader, because at the very end, spoiler alert, you find out Marsh is in the scene still and is alive.
Right. Yeah.
And we can talk more about Marsh, but at that very end, I think it's Marsh that even says Breeze's name.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and so he
He's
brings
like,
up Breeze.
like what you're trying to do to me, like Breeze, I know that from Breeze or something.
Yep. And so I just thought that was such a cool revelation.
Yeah.
And so Wax is a descendant of Breeze. Now, I don't know how many generations could be, because 300 years went by.
But Mr. Suits specifically having such a Breeze, like, persona is so on par.
I guess he kind of does, right? Like he's
conniving and rich and wears a suit.
I would say Breeze wasn't necessarily conniving, but he was
conniving for the greater good, but he was conniving. He would soothe people to get them to do his bidding.
Maybe he was oftentimes doing it for good, but I think when they first got started, he kind of joined that crew when he first joined that crew, I don't think it was necessarily to do good, was it?
I don't. I think he was
Kelsier
always kind
originally,
of like had questionable motives.
Because Kelsier definitely wanted to overthrow the Lord Ruler and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I think at first he was just good, like...
I think he was just like kind of their tie to the nobles. That
maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, it is funny that he goes by Mr. Suits and Breeze wore a full suit.
Yeah, right.
And he was a noble, so I just thought that was a cool tie-in.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but one thing I got to say about the speed bubbles, because it's taking up space in my brain. Not only was it a sick thing in the fight scenes, but it was such a great literary device for implementing humor into very serious scenes. You know, they could when Wax is meeting Sophie or whatever her name is with, the suitor, and they're in the house, I'm blanking on her name. And they're just they're just kind of having like a fun conversation in the speed bubble. And I think there was a great way to implement humor in otherwise like pretty serious scenes.
That's a really good point. And also to get you in the head of what they could be thinking in a moment of peril. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's truly what's kind of going on in their psyche.
This could be really bad. It's almost like you ever watch a movie where it's being narrated in the form of a story to kids, for example, and then when it gets really, really, the movie's going, and then it gets really, really tense, and they pull back.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Don't worry, kids, it's okay."
Who does that? Series of Unfortunate Events.
That's a great. Yes. So it almost reminds me of that a little bit, where it's like it is a great device to kind of slow things down, allow some external commentary around what's going on. Yeah. You let the reader kind of know that maybe there's a couple more things at play than you think. There's a way out of the situation, for example. They use that speed bubble to game plan, to talk about inner emotion. In fact, speaking of Steris, I think there's a scene where there's a speed bubble where Wayne had been pretending to be the butler or whatever.
Yeah, the first time they meet Steris, he comes in and Wax is like, "Dude, what are you doing here? Like, I have to meet this person."
And he's already there. And
he's like the uncle or something.
He does that speed bubble like halfway through, and he's like, "You're gonna marry this chick?" Because we're all thinking
she wrote you an SOW.
There's like very little. She had a whole contract created.
Yeah,
and very little obvious compatibility. But then there's and it obviously ends with him continuing to move forward with Steris and that relationship. And you can't. I imagine that's not going to actually,
Yeah.
bear fruit.
Well, in the literary sense, or the
In both
who knows?
senses.
Maybe she bears fruit, but I that would be a bummer if he doesn't end up with Marasi. I don't think you could just in 300 pages you couldn't make that happen. But
he did kind of make the comment she's young. She's not so young though. I mean, she's like
he's ostensibly 40, I think, and she was like 20.
20. So
he was just like, you're immature. You got too much ahead of you. Like Steris, like we don't need to marry for love. Like it's strategic and whatever.
Yeah.
But I hope I hope Wax finds a Lessie supplement.
I would like to talk to you a little bit about. Can we talk a little bit more about Miles?
Sure.
I think he's a very interesting character.
Yeah.
I think he's like a super interesting character because he's also twin-born.
He's an augur, I believe would be what they call them, which is interesting because AU is the chemical symbol for gold.
Oh, okay. There you go.
He's gold.
Hit me with those
dual Allomancer with gold. He's a gold Allomancer and gold Ferukami.
Ferukami. And he's got all those nodes in his body. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read a passage here. It's a quick one. Miles Daughater is twin-born. Daughater is twin-born. But it says here, Miles Daughater is twin-born, Wexilium said, leaning forward in their train car. Quote, a particularly dangerous variety of twin-born. Double gold, Wayne said with a nod. He reclined on the cushioned bench opposite Wexilium. Outside, the exterior suburbs of Ellendale passed in a blur. Marasi sat on the bench near Wayne. Gold Allomancers aren't very dangerous from what I've read. No, Wexilium said. They aren't, but it's the doubling up that makes Miles so powerful. If your Allomancy and Ferukami share a metal, you can access its powers many-fold. It's complicated. You store an attribute inside the metal, then burn that metal to release the power. It's called compounding. According to legends, it's the way the silver gained immortality. So there's two things. Compounding and the silver. Mm-hmm. So if you remember, so this is just classic Sanderson layering. Towards the beginning of the book, he refers to a religion called Silverism. And if you read that religion, they say it's those who worship Iron Eyes. Mm-hmm. Who was Iron Eyes? Marsh. So he was foreshadowing Marsh coming back the whole time. Even at the very beginning, he talked about Silverism and the fact that silver was that Iron Eyes was immortal from the very beginning.
Yeah, I missed.
And they're doing it through compounding.
Yeah, I missed the that being immortal. That it would have been Marsh. I had a feeling that the Inquisitors were coming back from that perspective. But good catch on the immortal piece.
So there's a whole religion around Marsh.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's called Silverism. And they didn't explicitly say that, but at the beginning when they talk about Silverism, they define it as, quote, those who worship Iron Eyes. And we know Iron Eyes to be Marsh. And in fact, Miles...
Well, it doesn't have to be Marsh, but I mean, it would...
Well, when it said Iron Eyes, I knew that was Marsh because that was his nickname.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Mistborn.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the only reason I remember that is because I explicitly remember us bringing it up in one of the podcasts that it was Iron Eyes and he had the spikes in his head. So it could be anybody, but that's what they called him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The crew.
I forgot
Kelsier's
that part.
crew.
Yeah.
So it was, in fact, layered and extremely early. So I knew Marsh was coming, but I didn't know, I didn't know exactly how he was going to fold in. And that was kind of odd, right? Like he basically comes in at the very end and approaches Marasi with a book. Mm-hmm. I didn't take too many notes on that, but
no, essentially, I think he says like read this and like change your perspective.
Well, he wants it to be delivered to Wax.
Yeah, right.
It's page 303.
Let's see if I can find this. The very back. Yeah, this is exactly where they reference Breeze. Marsh is soothing her.
That's right. Yeah,
Marsh is soothing
She's
her.
walking out.
Apologize for bringing you like this. He had is smoothing her. Stop. I wish him to be Your friend Wax has uncovered something very dangerous, and you wish him to stop. Stop? Not at all. I wish him to be informed. Harmony has particular views about how things must be done. I do not always agree with him. Oddly, his beliefs require that he allow that here.
Yeah.
And then that's where he gives him the book.
So
there's
he says
information in
Wax
this.
uncovered?
Guard it carefully. You may read it if you wish, but deliver it to Lord Waxillium on my behalf. So he doesn't say... He just says, your friend has uncovered something very dangerous. So,
well, let's think about that.
And then he says, deliver it to Wax.
So, no, he's... Okay, so he says, he's uncovered something very dangerous. So I need you to take this book, and I need you to give it to Wax.
Your friend has uncovered something very dangerous.
Yeah.
Then take this to Wax.
Exactly. So let's dive into that. What did Wax uncover that was very dangerous?
That his uncle is running. Wax uncovered about them getting the allomancers and
the
potentially
program.
breeding them, which is Wax, has made that known, but to the police, that has really nothing.
And kind of Marasi was the one that kind of
caught up on that,
and
yeah.
He was building that family tree. But at the very end, on the surface, it looked like an insurance thing.
Yeah.
But I think the real deeper concern is that they were collecting allomancers.
Right. For a breeding program, kind of like the Inquisitors did.
Well, right. Exactly. So what I put in here, they don't talk about Hemalurgy much in here, but that's how you make an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
What if Marsh, that's how Marsh is living this long, is he's behind that? But then again, I thought he ended off on a good note, but it's like, I just had that crazy thought, what if that's what's actually happening is they were using Hemalurgy? Maybe it's not to keep Marsh alive, but it could be to give Marsh more power.
Well, if he can burn silver both ways, wouldn't that make him immortal? Isn't that what they were talking about?
I don't know that he benefits himself from compounding. That's how Miles was able to do it.
Yeah.
Let me read that quote one more time. According to legends, that's the way that Marsh was doing it. So maybe Marsh is able to but that's not how Marsh was operating in the original era 1.
Right. No.
So unless he created that ability after the fact through Hemalurgy, and now Hemalurgy is a very unexplored additional system here.
Right.
We talk a lot about Allomancy and Feruchemy, but we seldom talk about Hemalurgy. I think he's doing that on purpose. It must be a critical component.
Well, yeah, but based off of Marsh coming in, he goes, no, I don't want you to stop this at all. So maybe I would assume it has nothing to do with Marsh.
Or is he trying to get him off his tracks?
Could be. So
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Could be.
What could the book be? Could the book be, I was thinking, the book could be, where do we know about books? We know about the Lord Ruler's journal.
Could be a journal.
I doubt it would be the Lord Ruler's, but maybe.
Oh, it could be Kelsier's journal.
Could be something like that.
It could be Vin's journal.
Oh, that'd be
interesting. Could be Spook, something Spook wrote. Obviously he's bringing it back. But I don't think Sanderson, as we've talked about at the beginning, he's done a good job about writing these books where you don't have to read Era 1. I think you'd miss out on something. So I don't think that he would tie that book so closely to Era 1 that you have to read.
Also, what would the new what would they get out of the Lord Ruler's original journal if it wasn't for Hemalurgy? Because
I'm not saying it would be the Lord Ruler's, but I don't
that's just
see him saying, I don't see it being Vin's journal or Kelsier's journal, because I don't see Sanderson making Era 1 such a focal point of this book where it would be unreadable if you hadn't read Era 1.
Yeah. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah,
again, these are predictions. So
it could be something new. The book could be something new, but the book could do one of two things. Either, one, Marsh is good, because I think at the end of Era 1, Marsh was under the control of Ruin at the time, and that's why he killed Elend. But with his last bit of effort that he could muster away from Ruin, he used it to help Vin, I believe. Yeah. And so I think that there is goodness in him, and then when, with the creation of Harmony, I believe that Marsh should be good of character again. But also, why is he alive 300 years later? Why do people call him Death? He's known as Death. I believe in that chapter, actually.
They refer to him to Death a couple of times.
Death.
Yeah.
So he has a few nicknames. He still is called Iron Eyes, Silver, Death. Mm-hmm. So to me, it seems like something nefarious.
Well, so I don't know if this
Maybe
is
not,
related or unrelated. They always say rust and ruin.
Yeah.
Like when they're swearing. And, maybe they're just saying rust because it's kind of like the Industrial Revolution here. But maybe maybe it's something more. Maybe rusted metal, if you burn, rusted metal is something.
Well, ruin is an actual
That's
entity.
what I'm saying.
So
Rust is something else. Maybe rust is something else.
Some other entity. Some sort of day. It could be if ruin is, because it's referring to it as if it's a person or thing.
Right. I mean,
Rust and ruin.
When they would swear in Era 1, they would say like, Lord Ruler or something. Like when they would swear in Era 1, it was a ton of foreshadowing into the rest of the book.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'd be interested to know how rust plays into this. Obviously, you could assume that it's the Industrial Revolution, but I don't think he just loosely does that.
Probably not. No, and because it's also paired with ruin, and we know that ruin is the antithesis of preservation, and I believe also at the end isn't harmony still slightly outweighed by ruin? I thought I remembered something like that. Like the balance is not perfect.
Not
yet.
perfect.
Am I crazy?
Oh, well, what if rust? So you're assuming rust and ruin, they're swearing. Ruin is bad. Maybe rust has something to do with like the technological advancements. And there's like, maybe there's something alongside of that where if you, and this is a stretch, but they lean so heavy into guns. They're talking about cars. Like maybe there's a negative rust thing where technology advances are ruining the minds of man, and we can't get too far into tech advancements.
Well, that would be interesting because this whole thing is supposed to be a space opera. The next, I think, Ghostblood is supposed to be.
Sure.
So that would be interesting. Also, this will help me a little bit. Wax's uncle's name is Edwarn. So that'll help me a little bit.
Edwarn.
For some reason, I keep on confusing him with.
That's fine.
Even in my notes,
you can't really forget Edwarn.
Even in my notes, I've messed it up a couple times. That's so silly.
That's all right.
But
so I have a couple of things that I can bring up here. I don't contribute all that often. So speaking of going back to Era 1 and Era 2, there were a couple of names that he drops in Era 2 that are referring back to Era 1. Mm-hmm. In no particular, Ascendant Warrior being Vin.
Did you look these up?
No. These are just. I'm assuming these things. Ascendant Warrior, Vin. I know they confirm that in the book. Harmony, assuming is Sazed.
Yeah, definitely Sazed. Yeah.
Originators being the Kandra, or the because they talk about the originators and everybody came from the originators, and so when they talk about that, I'm assuming that they're talking about the OG Kandra.
Oh, I thought they were talking about like the originators being what Ellen left behind as the new world order.
Could be.
Why would it be the Kandra?
Because they're the ones that like have brought everything back, right? I mean,
I don't know. I'm trying to.
So that's okay. So there's a question mark there.
What they bring
Who
back?
are the they are the protectors of of like the world at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
And so
because they were guarding. This is dredging.
Yeah, I know.
Weren't they guarding the Adium or something?
Yeah, they were guarding the Adium,
and they were doing that to keep Ruin from getting it because that was going to be his ability to tip the scale in power.
Right, and they're unkillable. So they're immortal, and so they just talk about people coming from the originators. So that would be a question mark.
Yeah, the originators. Yeah.
Number 2, the survivor, obviously Kelsier, Iron Eyes, Devil, Marsh. The other one in here, Lord Mistborn.
Yeah, I saw
Spook.
That. Yeah, probably Spook.
Yeah.
So because he's given
whole life.
Mistborn abilities by Harmony Sazed at the end of the.
Yeah, and then they refer to Ellen as something else. I can't remember, but
we also have the final ascension is another term I wrote down, and then the words of founding.
So the final ascension would be Vin, and Vin
becoming preservation, right?
Yeah,
basically.
Again, we're assuming these things, but yes.
And then the words of founding is probably I think that's
what they
Sazed's
what he wrote for
collection
Spook. Or
collection of religions, maybe?
Probably.
Or, something like that. And then on page 223, 223, it referred to Iron-Eye's tomb. His tomb. I don't know if that was significant or not. Seems
Could
like
be.
it, kind of.
Yeah,
His
could be.
tomb? Because he'd be dead.
Yeah. Oh.
Just thinking about this. 223.
Yeah, so he's back. He's back.
So that's very religious of you, Sanderson.
Yeah.
Let me look at this. Iron-Eye's tomb.
Yeah, so he would have to be, well, maybe it could be it could be a resurrection thing, or maybe a falsified death.
23.
I don't even remember how Marsh goes out.
Marsh?
Yeah, I don't even remember like how he goes out. I mean, obviously,
he gets killed.
Crazy.
I thought does Ven kill him?
I think so. Yeah, and the crazy battle. Let's see if I can.
I was trying to read this, dude. I'm really bad at like skimming a page to read something in real time. Oh, here it is. Oh, it says. Oh, this is Miles thinking. It's important, Miles thought, because I intended to use that aluminum to finance my own operations. Now he was practically destitute, right back where he'd begun. Damn you, Wax. Damn you straight to Iron-Eye's tomb.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Damn you. Because that's another like kind of like just term that they would use, right? Like, what would you refer to that as? Just as not an idiom, some sort of
it could be like word, by the beard of Zeus.
Yeah, so kind of an idiom.
Yeah,
but yeah, so he would say so straight to Iron-Eye's tomb. So that is interesting, man. So Marsh is Iron-Eyes. We know that, and we know that also silverism refers to compounding, and that's one of the main theories. And then we also hear Miles talking about Iron-Eye's tomb. Which would kind of contradict the idea of him being immortal. But we do know he's alive. At the very end, he comes back.
There is... The last time you see Marsh's here, he cuts off... Spoiler. Cuts off Ellen's head. And Vin is right here...
He lopped it off.
He kills Ellen, and she just like dips.
He doesn't live. He's
no,
alive?
he goes. He smiled at Marsh. Ellen smiled at Marsh again defiantly, and the Inquisitor raised his axe. Axe took off Ellen's head, and then at no point do you see Marsh's name referenced ever again.
Really? Not in the preceding chapters. Well, Vin doesn't. I remember her being upset, right?
Yeah. Okay. So here. Yeah, man. So Marsh, his name is not referenced anywhere.
No one killed Marsh.
Yeah, his name's not even referenced in here.
That feels like something I should have remembered. He was not killed, but rather brutalized, and hence that these AI overviews sometimes so bad. But I think it is right.
Yeah. So he cuts off Ellen's head, and then just it doesn't even really say. He just dips out.
So they refer to him as death. That seems obviously like some sort of... That's a negative. It feels like a pejorative to me.
Right.
He seems like he is not created... Well, people...
He was the bad guy.
Nobody knows he's actually alive, though. Right? Like, because he's a deity.
They say that he comes
deity.
around. They say that he comes around and will, like, visit you. But I think they're probably saying that, like, the angel of death comes over.
Right,
I'm not...
right.
The angel of death's not showing up at my door.
In this instance, he's literally showing up. So, yeah, that was my only thought was, like... Hemalurgy is underexplored. And the other thing I was going to mention, and that's why I was wondering, why are they getting all these they're not breeding them. I think they're turning them, they're using it for Hemalurgy to create an ultimate being. What Marsh was doing, like what they did to Marsh, to make Marsh.
Yeah.
Marsh was able to, wasn't it Marsh that killed the Lord Ruler even? Like they are very capable. People who are a product of Hemalurgy. Seal Inquisitors are incredibly capable. And I read this when I finished the book and the Arcanum, and I never read the Arcanum, and I did it for you because usually you do.
That's good. Yeah, I read it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So you read this part then. I'm a little bit too far ahead. There's the part where it talks about Hemalurgy and the Arcanum. It says, because it talks about all three. And then it says, Hemalurgy is less widely known in the modern world of Scadrial. Its secrets were kept close by those who survived the world's rebirth. And the only known practitioners of it now are the Kandra, who for the most part serve harmony and a few scattered Kalos clans. So that blew my mind.
Yeah.
The Kandra are using Hemalurgy.
Yeah.
Hemalurgy is an end negative art. Some power is lost in the practice of it, though many through history have maligned it as an evil art. None of the investitures are actually evil. At its core, Hemalurgy deals with removing abilities or attributes from one person and bestowing them in another. It's primarily concerned with things of the spiritual realm and is of the greatest interest to me. If one of these three arts is of great importance to the Cosmere, it is this one. I think there are numerous possibilities for its use. So that's when I read that, I was like, okay, so what's in that book? Could maybe the book is talking about this?
Yeah.
And also, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, W, you sly
Ooh,
dog.
I'm a sly dog.
Wax or someone said something very interesting at the end. It says here, now that we're talking about Kandra, this is page 291. Waxilium scratched his chin, watching the man. This was Breton. Remember Breton? He kind of was the constable guy who was giving him gruff originally.
Yeah.
And then at the very end was basically like,
hey, you have carte blanche.
Yeah, he was like, bent the knee.
You do
it
whatever
says
you
here,
want.
something decidedly on was going on there. He was almost like a different person. Wayne passed him, tipping his lucky hat, which was bloodied on one side, grinning as he approached Waxilium and Marasi. Almost like a different person.
Yeah. Kandra. Oh,
So-
the originators.
Maybe they are the freaking originators. But so I was thinking, okay, so someone turned Breton into a Kandra. And if you
Which
remember,
means that he would have had to die.
yes, actually died. And also, Kandra are controlled. They do not have their
Yeah.
own fruition. So someone
yeah.
owns the Kandra. And whoever owns them, I think you have to have something of theirs. I can't remember if it's their metal or like, don't you remember there's a certain way that you can own a Kandra, basically?
Yeah. I'm blanking, but
You know what I'm saying.
yeah, Devereaux, who they named like one of the rivers off of, was Kelsier's Kandra, and
Who? Devereaux?
Devereaux was the Kandra that Kelsier had.
Devereaux?
Devereaux.
Are you talking about a book that Arcanum Unbound?
No.
I thought his was different.
I think
Lovable.
it's Devereaux.
No. Maybe you're right, and I've forgotten, but I thought it was...
this was 18 months ago.
what was that guy's name?
I thought it was Devereaux, because that's like what they
Kandra.
name one of the streets after in Scadrial.
You're usually pretty good with this kind of stuff, so I wouldn't...
I don't know. I'd be curious.
Renault. Yeah, you're really close.
Renault.
That's right, Renault. And doesn't he become the dog?
Yeah.
Because that's a great scene.
Yeah.
Okay, so Renault.
So-
but yeah.
I can't remember how Kelsier like got Renault, but
He was in the family. He was the family's Kandra, right?
yeah, something like
Pretty sure. But, so the long story short, they...
if he was a Kandra, somebody is controlling him because they can't act on their own.
And had them kill Breton to be... And then obviously, the Kandra is now being amenable towards Wax.
to give Wax carte blanche to do whatever he wants.
So that seems interesting. Who's doing that?
And why would they want Wax to be able to run amok across the whole city?
Or-
Probably to
or-
build a bad name for himself.
Or maybe to keep him occupied, preoccupied.
Yeah.
Something like that. Keep him, give him access. Well, so he doesn't keep going towards that breeding program.
Well,
maybe.
could
Or
to
so
make him
he doesn't-
preoccupied, or to, like Batman, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain or whatever, and so maybe it's to paint Wax in a bad light. If they are able
Make
to
mistakes.
construct the right things for Wax to go after, maybe the public will perceive him in a negative way, and then they can build a case against him or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there could be a lot of reasons for that.
Lot
but
of strings
I'm
here.
glad we brought that up because I almost forgot that in my notes that there could be a Kandra.
Yeah.
And I did not realize that Hemalurgy is largely being practiced and used by the Kandra. And they don't do anything unless they're being controlled.
Yeah.
Who would be pushing Hemalurgy more than Marsh? Or an Inquisitor. Now, it doesn't have to be Marsh, but I have to imagine after 300 years, what's he been doing? Is he
Right.
creating a Kandra army?
Well, and who was controlling the original Kandras? The Lord Ruler was.
Right.
The Lord Ruler
And
was
he made
controlling
them.
Yeah, he made them.
Out of Mistwraiths.
So then
And then he killed
So
the Lord
then-
Ruler.
and then so Vin-
he killed the role. So isn't when Marsh killed the Lord Ruler, don't they? Funneled to him now?
Well, at least for the Colossus. No, that's for the Colossus. I don't know about the Kandra.
Was
Actually, I think you might be right. No, Vin kills the Lord Ruler.
was it Vin? I thought it was Marsh. At the last second, because it was him. Wasn't it Marsh and Vin in the room at the same time?
Yeah.
Was it Vin? Man, I didn't think we'd be talking about Era 1, to be honest. This has really led us into this.
No, but we're also probably looking into this book a lot deeper than a casual reader might.
Vin killed the Lord Ruler, you're
Yeah.
right. By
So
stabbing him in the
then-
heart with the spear after she was able to remove the 80
So then
embracers.
Vin, well, okay.
She's preservation.
So Vin would maybe have control. And then it's like the Elder Wand. And then Vin dies kind of by like her own hand a little bit. So Sazed would maybe have control over the Kandra. Like Vin just kind of like runs out.
Yeah, who is killed by her own powers after she absorbs the mists.
Yeah, she just kind of like
That's
runs
right.
out.
So do Kandra have to?
Have free will.
The Lord Ruler definitely made the Kandra, right?
He made him, yeah.
Out of Mistborn, or I'm sorry, out of Mistwraiths. I believe is the lore behind that.
Yeah.
Mistwraiths become Kandra.
Yeah.
And I think they have to have some sort of, because remember at the very end of the Hero of Ages, isn't there some sort of book, some sort of guideline that they have to follow? And they had the original Kandra who were like
the original contract. That's like the whole thing.
The original
Contract is like the whole thing.
Do they refer to that in the book at all? The original contract?
In Era 2?
Or,
In this book? No. The original contract is like the whole thing of Era 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to...
The first contract, illegal and social, made by the Kandra people and approved by the Lord Ruler. Originally, a series of promises became the Kandra's foundational law, binding them to the Lord Ruler and outlining their rights and duties. It was written in steel. That's right. It was written in steel to prevent alteration by ruin, commanded absolute loyalty, while also containing provisions for self-preservation and instructions to do if ruin were to return, because they killed themselves at the end. That's right. And they referred to him as the Father. So, with him dead, it does beg the question, who is there?
Well, they refer to Vin as mother at the end of Well of Ascension. They refer to her as mother.
Which makes sense. With her being absorbed as...
Because now she's the leader. Well, the Kandra...
Or she had killed... Because she had killed the Lord Ruler.
So she's mother. And
okay, so what you're saying is probably right. This Elder Wand theory
is who's in charge now.
So then... And
if she is absorbed by her own power, then the Kandra potentially could be free.
That's a good point. And if they're free, but if they are, it says here, after Ven's death, the Kandra fell under direct control of Harmony Sazed, which makes sense. I'm not going to read any further because I feel like we might be getting into something.
Right. I wouldn't. So that would make sense.
What's the benefit though? Well, I guess the benefit of the Kandra is that they effectively live forever.
Yeah, they live forever.
And
they can shapeshift.
They are a massive tool for good or evil, really, if you think about it. Incredibly capable at enacting your will. And so it's probably a good thing that Harmony is the one that's overseeing
maybe Marsh is trying to create his own version of Kandra.
That's what maybe
he's trying to create his own version of Kandra by the way of the Alamancers.
So, because then it's the question of, is this, where does his heart lie? Is Marsh initially is good. He was Kelsey's brother. Like, he was fighting against the Lord Ruler, but somewhere along the way, he was being controlled by the Lord Ruler to the point, or by ruin rather, to the point where maybe his soul has been hardened. His heart's been hardened, and Is he is he a will for good or is he a will for ruin?
Well, or maybe
is he still being controlled by ruin?
Or maybe he's a third party and there's another broader evil out there that we're just not familiar with or we haven't been introduced to.
Mm-hmm.
I think them referring to him as evil and the devil and everything that I would think that it would be hard for him to just that's all that he is. He's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him being, when he says, your friend has uncovered something extremely dangerous, give him this, where it's Marsh has always been kind of bad, kind of good, but he's never the bad guy or the good guy.
Well, Marsh was under
control.
He was being controlled.
Right.
However, he gave into that.
Right.
Not now the ruins, if I'm thinking biblically,
yeah.
Right? Ruin had a grip on him, whereas he was unable to get a similar grip on someone like Ven, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's does that mean that Marsh had a proclivity towards ruin side of things to the point where he became a beacon that was more susceptible than a Ven? I don't know. Now I'm really reading into it, but that's kind of how Sen works when you think of it from a biblical perspective. Some people have more of a proclivity towards it than others, who are able to harden themselves against it to stay.
I have a proclivity for sin, unfortunately.
Well, we all technically do, right? That's the idea, but
born in sin.
But anyways, dude, the only last
took
thing
a turn.
that took a big turn, but I do like talking about that because it's that book is important. What they uncovered, what Wax and Marasi uncovered, is probably that breeding program, but it's bigger than this trying to create an Alamancer army. I think they're probably using it for Hemalurgy or something.
I feel like it's got to be way bigger than just an
Conjures are being
Alamancer
controlled.
army.
Who's controlling the Kandra? I'm trying to think who, could it be any, could Wax's uncle be the one doing it? Because he's cocky as hell at the very end. I mean, he's cocky.
Yeah.
It's like he's got an ace in his back pocket.
Yeah, right. He does.
So he's got trump cards. So maybe, but then why wouldn't he also be taking advantage of the Hemalurgy himself?
Yeah.
Maybe he is.
Yeah, who knows?
No one tried to kill him. He's just behind the scenes the whole time.
He's just eating
a
oysters. He's having oysters.
He's a financier.
Yeah, right.
And he was having Miles do his dirty work.
Well, and I will say that they talk the broader mind behind this whole thing is called the set, maybe. Also, who's Trell?
Oh, are you talking about Trellism, the religion?
This because they reference
there's
Trell.
A religion called I think that's a religion.
They made Trell made Miles inspired by the Survivor, so it must be.
Did you say that one more time?
Trell. I would just might notice who was Trell in parentheses made Miles inspired by the Survivor. Trell.
So I've got in mind Trellism, which is what Miles believes in, and they talk about it on page 173.
Yeah.
And then I have another quote in here where it says, "And Trell, help me if I'm wrong. Why had Trell made men like him, if not to see wrongs righted?" That was Miles on page 172. So he speaks a lot of that religion,
right.
Trellism. Could be worth looking at that.
So that's why I was just saying, who is Trell?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Because all of these religions are perpetuated and started by a thing, a person,
right,
mostly.
Person, right.
For the most part, right? Like the survivorist, obviously, is Kelsier.
Yeah.
So
now this other thing that is interesting, and Miles is dead, we assume, but when he talks about when he burns gold, he splits into his past self and his future self at the same time, and he's
able to see these two different tracks.
Yeah, and he can have insights from both ones at each time, and he goes. What was interesting, he goes, "Am I seeing who I was or who I could have been?" And so it was just a very interesting dynamic that he was going through life.
Well, and isn't it also interesting that both of them hate him?
Yeah, right. Or he hates both of them.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he hates both of them because he hates that he's seen himself become the criminal, but he hated that he was.
And both sides.
Yeah, being a criminal hates the lawmaker, and the lawmaker hates the criminal.
Hates the criminal.
Yeah.
So there is no winning in that.
He goes. They say he was like a man swatting mosquitoes while ignoring the gash in his leg. which is just, that would suck.
I was trying to apply that in the context of that scenario, and I was struggling for a second. I was going to look at, I thought I had in here about Trellism. It says here, the words of founding, which I believe is Sazed's collection of religions.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's what he did.
So, yeah.
Well, and at the beginning, it talks all about those. It talks a lot about the religions. Obviously, Wax follows pathism, follows the path, and there's a couple people that follow the survivalists, Miles, Trell. It says here, and Trell, help me if I'm wrong. Why had Trell made men like him, if not to see wrongs righted? The words of founding had included a lengthy explanation of Trellism and its teachings, which proved men like Miles were special. I thought I might have had more on Trellism. I think they explained it a little bit towards the beginning.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's important.
It is important.
Trellism, religion, Mistborn. Centered in worship of a god named Trell. Historically, it was an ancient religion named Trellism, practiced by the
Okay, so
Nelizan
that
people.
begs the question: who is Trell? So I don't know if we want to go down this path right now, because what if Trell has to do with the bigger picture here?
Well, surely it does, because someone like Miles was
an integral part of this book,
well,
and
he could have effectively lived forever. So somebody who had defied death still believed in a power greater
and it says,
than him.
Yeah, and some I don't remember what I wrote here, but
it
says inspired by the survivor, and so maybe
Kelsier?
Well, no, because Kelsier has his own religion.
The survivoress.
Yeah, so maybe Trellism is maybe Marsh is a survivor, but then Silverism has its own, but maybe it's two versions of Marsh that have their own religion. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be weird.
That would be weird. Or Spook. Maybe Spook's got his own religion.
Yeah, but what? I can't imagine.
Everybody can have their own, but
I think what we needed was a better understanding of like what Trellism is. I think there was a chapter towards like a couple of lines towards the beginning where Miles talked about it, and I don't think I have it in here, unfortunately.
But I can tell you that if you said it was founded by ancient Trell, I have no context.
No, they definitely did not talk about that.
So I think we might want to leave that stone.
Yeah, let's
unturned,
leave it. Let's leave that one unturned,
because I have to imagine that's coming back.
Yeah. But I thought that we'll leave it at this. I thought the path religion was so Sazed. The idea where there's one basic tenet. It was like do more good than harm. The belief that all truth was important, the requirement to give more than one took. There were over 300 examples listed in the words of founding, religions that could have been, might have been, and other times in another world. The path was to study them, learn from their moral codes. A few rules were central. Do not seek lust without commitment. See the strengths and all flaws. Pray and meditate 50 minutes a day, and don't waste time worshiping harmony. Doing good was the worship.
I love that.
But it's like, so he had collected all these religions, and pathism is to basically learn the best of all of them, apply them to your life, find moments of solace, reflect. Don't spend time worshiping a thing. It's doing good is the worship.
Is the worship. Yeah, I love that.
So that was
very
so you can
Sazed.
kind of, it's also very Sanderson, like thinking deeply and projecting, I feel like, his thoughts on, religion and, maybe giving you a little glimmer into how he pictures these things. He's on record saying that every character is a little bit of him. Like he can see parts of himself in all of these characters. No one character necessarily represents the sum total of him, but he definitely grapples with a lot of different religious perspectives.
Yeah.
And I felt like that feels like the sum total of his thoughts, maybe.
Yeah, I certainly think it sums up Sazed as a character,
and it
which
definitely
is
sums up Sazed.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was an interesting religion for Wax to be following. Let's go ahead and wrap up. I think we've spent a longer time than I thought talking about this. Give it. Why don't you give it a rating?
8.4.
That's great.
8.4. I'm trying to be more conservative in ratings, and in my mind, that being conservative is like that's a high rating. Mm-hmm. I really like the book.
Yeah, I will go ahead and I'm going to give it a 7.8. I really liked it as well. I feel like an 8 or above. We're splitting hairs at a 7.8.
Sure,
but giving it above an 8 maybe felt like hard for me to do, but I will say it's like a really strong start to the series. I almost feel, and I have to look back and see what I said about Era 1. I would guess that my rating of this book for Era 2, Book 1, is higher than Book 1, Era 1.
I'd say so.
I'll have to go and look and see if that's actually the case, but 7-8 is pretty high. 8-4 is very high.
Yeah, I
great
really
start,
liked it.
banger start to the book. Excited to get into Book 2.
I think he did just enough ties into Era 1 to really make me like feel like it was part of the Cosmere.
And like always, he just had a great epilogue too that just wowed you again. He started with a fantastic prologue, ends with a great epilogue. He always, his bookends are very, very good. And I actually liked the Sanderlanche in this one, in the big fight scene with Miles towards the end, and how they were able to finally trap him.
Yeah, because
it seemed impossible.
Yeah.
With somebody like Wax's inability to fight him on that train where he was getting his ass handed to him, made you feel like, could you ever kill Miles?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, no, he did. I love.
He shot him point blank in the head and couldn't kill him.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, in the
point
eye.
blank in the head.
Yeah.
And all he did was just rip his mask off.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see Mr. Suits come back and just be a financier villain, just fat villain guy.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see that tie-in with Wax. But do you think Wax knew it was his uncle the whole time?
Well, he says that he did, but
he says that he did. Okay, because they didn't make that clear, and much of this book is written from Wax's perspective.
Yeah.
So why are you just so comfortable calling him Mr. Suits if it's truly your uncle? But he did find out, though.
He didn't know until...
I thought he thought that he was dead. He thought, that was part of it. He thought that he was died in a car crash.
It wasn't until them like being in the final fight scene that he confirmed that it was his uncle.
Because didn't he think that there was a car crash? That's the reason he took over.
Yeah, he thought his sister was dead and the cousin was dead.
And his aunt.
Yeah, right.
His aunt and uncle were dead.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, no,
but
Miles,
so his sister, Telson, is alive.
Yeah, so his sister's alive, and Miles like says or does something in the cave where he confirms
that made him realize
that.
I didn't pick up on that. Well, good, man. Hey, fun stuff. I think the next book we're going to read could be book 2, and we also do have the Strength of the Few getting shipped to us in like a week or so. So not sure what we're going to read next.
I'm working through Gate of the Feral Gods now, and I'm loving it so far.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm probably 2/3 of the way through book 7, The Inevitable Ruin.
Yeah. So stay tuned, Goblins.
Maybe we finish those and then we can talk. We can do like a DCC.
It'd be interesting.
I could talk book 4. It's still pretty topical for me.
Yeah.
But all right, buddy.
All right, love it.
Till
stay
next
tuned,
time.
Goblins.